We will today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita 5.23. Today we'll revise the 5.22 again. So in 5.22, Krishna says that an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. So everything that we comes in contact with this material world is being called a source of misery. It is being called the reason that we have a lot of suffering in our life. So Krishna continues that, O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end. And so the wise man does not delight in them. Right? So all of these pleasures are temporary and they have a beginning and an end. Today, if we buy a new house, in 1 year, we see someone else's house, it is bigger, better, newer than us, has newer technology. And we think, oh my God, maybe if I would have waited for 6 months or 1 year, maybe I could have bought this better house. That house which gave us so much pleasure when we bought it a year ago. Same thing also applies to a car. But if you go and buy a car in 6 to 8 months, you will see that a newer car has come out with better technology features, more advanced, nicer looking, and you will say, oh, I want this car. Well, we just bought a car 6 to 8 months ago. But all of the pleasure in this world is temporary. That's why we are not looking for pleasure. We're looking for that higher taste, right? This whole everything on this material planet, it has the taste, it has a lower level of taste, which is really associated with everything that is temporary. Right? Today we want instant gratification. Everybody wants to watch reels in 30 seconds. If I don't like it, I can change it. You go on dating apps, you swipe left and right, whether you like someone or you don't. You order something, we all want it now within 10 minutes. Means if I see it, I want it, that's it. But that is not pleasure. And in Krishna consciousness, it's not about the pleasure, it is about bliss. Because our soul becomes happy, right? And that bliss, that feeling of Anand, that's why Krishna is called Sachit Anand, only comes when we acquire that higher taste. When we acquire that higher taste, right, just as we went over the example that when Srila Prabhupada was here, all of the hippies were drinking alcohol, having drugs, engaging in illicit activities 24 hours a day. But they would say that when we wake up the next morning, we feel very low because even when we drink alcohol, right, we start feeling very high and we think we are the kings of the world. We are ruling everything. Everything should follow what we say. But next morning when we wake up and that high goes away, it feels so low, so empty. Like, what did we do? Right? But in Krishna consciousness, when we are remembering Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, listening to his katha, serving him, serving his devotees, right? That bliss, it just continues to grow and grow. So Srila Prabhupada told all the hippies that, come, I will give you a higher happiness. That high which will never come down. It is not like your alcohol, not like your drugs. Once you have that, your high will never come down. And that is the holy name, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That bliss really has no beginning, no middle, no end, because that bliss, that feeling of blissfulness, of that true happiness in the soul is the feeling of Krishna. And Krishna has no beginning, no middle, no end. He's all pervading, omnipresent, omnipotent. Right? So we rise above this temporary happiness, this temporary pleasures, and having come in contact with Krishna, we are always, always in bliss. So in the next slok, what does Krishna say in 5.23? Krishna continues that before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. Right? Then what are we doing over here? What do we have to do? That tolerate the urges every day, every single minute. There's a new urge that is coming in the mind. A lot of times when people are either in depression or they're having anxiety, right, when they go for treatment, they tell them that when you get that kind of a feeling where you think you're getting very anxious or you cannot control anything around you, try to find a distraction, right? Like either go out for a walk, start, noticing what is around you, what is the color of the things around you. Start distracting your mind so that your mind moves away from how it is feeling. And that is exactly what we need to do over here as well. A lot of times we have these urges for material senses, and it is just a matter of few moments where that urge really goes up to very high. But then if you don't give in to that urge, it comes back down. So in that same way, how anxious people or people that have some mental health challenges, anything like that, that they're suffering, they use that distraction. We should use the same theory, the same skill as distraction, right? To move our mind away from the material urges. A lot of times we end up thinking about something because it is always on the top of our mind. But when we are able to distract our mind of ours or change it from focusing on one topic to somewhere else, right, then it becomes very easy. And what do the pure devotees, the sadhus, the elevated personalities do? That they always, always in the front of their mind think about Krishna. Think about the goal of this human life. Think about how difficult it was to even get this valuable human birth, where we have taken millions and billions of births and our heart has become so dirty. And once we think about that, these material senses, these urges, they will feel so little that our mind will move away from them and will focus on Krishna. It is not easy to do. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of time. But if we start doing this enough, it will become second nature. Once I'd asked Bapuji that in the beginning, when we started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we had to always put a lot of effort into it. But slowly, slowly, it began to feel like as if we're getting used to it and it is just happening. So, is that we are getting used to it, or should we change the method of the chanting? So Bapuji actually gave the same example. He said rather than trying to understand if you're getting used to it, right? Look at it that it is becoming second nature for you to chant. So you don't have to feel like you are putting in so much effort and reconcentrating your mind and everything. Why? Because the chanting has become second nature. Without chanting, we will not exist. So just like if you take another example, that when someone is going through a crisis, right? There's a crisis in the family, or they have a situation at work where there's a crisis. How do they react? People actually practice for this. They pay money to learn the skills needed on how to stay calm under pressure, right? Because the emotion or the actions that you start doing when you're under crisis are what make or break a person, whether it's personally or professionally or anything. And at that time, people actually practice these scenarios where they're in a crisis. Michael Phelps, the swimmer, his coach in all of the matches that were not like Olympic level or they were just smaller level matches, would always do something to throw him off the game. Once he said that he broke his glasses, the goggles that you wear so that you can see underwater. Michael Phelps' coach, before the race started, actually broke it and he didn't tell him. So when he put it on, he realized that it was broken. And now he's already at the race line. You cannot go and say, oh, hold on, my glasses are broken. You need to give me some time. Right? You have to react to that. You have to learn how to adapt to those situations. And so he said, I raced with that because I had practiced so much where I practiced that I knew how many strokes I had to take to go from one end of the pool to the other. And that same exact thing actually happened to him in one of his Olympic races. That when he jumped into the water, his glasses were not broken, but his eyes got filled with water, his glasses got filled with water, the swimming goggles. Now, if one swimming goggles get filled with water, what do? We generally stop, we remove the goggles, remove all the water out, then we restart in swimming. But Michael Phelps is in an Olympic level race and he cannot stop over there. 0.1 second, 0.001 second also matters. So he said that because I had already practiced for this previously and situations like this, and even during his regular practices, his coach would tell him, now close your eyes and do 10 laps. So he would know exactly how many strokes he needs to take, where the wall will be with his eyes closed, where he has to touch the wall and return and go underwater and return and everything. And he said that one race, I literally swam blind and he won that race. He won a gold medal. He said, why? Because I had practiced for it so much. My coach also did this to me in one of the races. So it became second nature for me. So I did not panic in that situation. So if in this present body we are able to give up and tolerate all of these material urges, right? And if we can check the force of desire, anger, if we can keep that in control, in check, we will not only be happy in this world, but also in the next world, in that spiritual abode. Why? Because it has become second nature to us for us to remain calm, to not give in to the uh, urges of the material senses or anything like that. So when we are chanting, also we should chant attentively, listening to the name, right? So that all of this, what is happening to us, you yourself will feel that you are changing. All of these are preparing us for the next life, all of these activities. Because it needs to become second nature for us. Otherwise, when we are leaving this body, we will say, oh, I wish I ate that one more chicken leg, or I want some meat right now. There was one 80-year-old woman in India who literally lost all of her teeth and she could not eat anything. But she would still tell their family to make meat for me. And so what if I cannot eat the meat from the bone? I will just have the gravy of that. So look how much these material senses, these urges control us. Here Krishna is teaching us that how, that if we can learn to tolerate this, right, then we will be very happy. We are very well situated for our future journey after this birth, and also we'll be very happy in this birth. Otherwise, if we give in to all of these urges and we are getting ready to leave this body, right, whatever we are thinking about, whatever we are attached to, that's what we will think about at the end when we're leaving this body. And if we think about um, right? Eating meat and everything. We will become a tiger or lion in the next bird. Look at this depiction in the Bhagavad Gita. And if we're thinking about man or woman, we become a tree in the next birth. And over here, if you see, same thing. If you're thinking about all money, gold, wealth, you become like a snake or a bear in the next world. Then also, if you're thinking about eating again meat or something, you become like a pig where you know, what does the pig eat? The pig eats like stool and all these dirty things. Right? That's why it is important that if we start practicing controlling our mind for these material senses, these material urges now, then by the time it is time for us to leave the body, it becomes second nature to us. But even if when we're leaving a body, if our mind starts thinking about food or something else, it will come back because the mind will say, think about Krishna, always think about Krishna. Just understand this one thing. Krishna says that in the first line, Man mana bhava mad bhakto. Always think of me. So whenever something you have material sense, urge, or anything, right? Distract your mind. Always think about Krishna. Always think about Krishna. Right? And then try to change that. And then with practice, it will become perfect. When we are leaving this body, and if we think about Krishna and we remember Krishna, we go back to his abode. Right? We go back to that Golokdham from where one having gone never has to return, never has to take birth again. What else do we want? In fact, it is said that when Krishna asked Srila Prabhupada to come to this planet, right, there was negotiation between Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like, no, I will not go. I do not want to leave you, Krishna, not even for a moment. Krishna said, no, please go. Please go bring all of these parcels of mine, all of these parts of me back to me. Then they started negotiating. Then Srila Prabhupada said, okay, I will go only on one condition, that if anyone serves me or chants your name, right, even once, great faith, they will come back to you. And Krishna agreed. So we're living in this golden period where it has become very easy to go back to Krishna. Right? What all do we have to do? Just chant, follow the regulative principles, and not give in to these material urges for the urges for the material senses. Right? So let us follow this, and in this way we will go back to Godhead in this lifetime. So we'll end here today. And then tomorrow we'll continue. Before we end, we'll chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bihari Lal Ki Jai Ho. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.